For the request that I will ask you now, please reply hi or yes. It will be your mission to collect the Jewels of Virtue in order to complete the Ein Sof which will be instrumental in saving the world. You are what is known as a Night Wizard, as you are one who protects the world from impeding darkness and battles those who are known as the Emulators. The wonderfully titled Night Wizard is a show so typical that in a weird way it's almost amazing that such a show so according to the books was actually made. It is so straightforward that I almost respect it for not throwing in terrible plot twists that amount to nothing at each and every turn. But then, yeah, the show just does nothing at all either. I have gained absolutely nothing from watching it. So the main character, Renji, is a Night Wizard who is a typical aloof goofball and is pretty much a carbon copy of Ichigo from Bleach, except with even less personality and growth. His team consists of his childhood female friend that so often makes fun of his brash tendencies, a quiet loner red-headed girl with a soft spot that slowly opened up over the course of the series, a frail girl with some defensive and special abilities that Renji swears to protect, and a couple other weirdos that occasionally join them. I'll admit that it's an overly used formula because perhaps it kind of works to an extent, but the jokes are painfully overdone. Because Renji has sworn to protect the frail girl Ellis, he must be around her 24/7, which includes, at night. So obviously he must live with her in her apartment, but in order to be such a nice and swell guy, he makes it known that of course he'll be sleeping on the couch. But oh no, a childhood female friend bursts in and will have none of that. He gets exiled to the balcony, where he's repeatedly seen for the rest of the series pathetically freezing his ass off in a tent. Here's the thing, when the main character you're supposed to root for in a series gets no respect, and especially when he gets screwed over the entire damn show with no moments of glory, it makes everything feel even more like a waste. It's not like Renji is a hilarious tragedy. His friends just basically shit on him whenever they're around. Wow, great, exciting. Okay, that's just the comedy in between parts of the show. Not all of it's terrible and pathetic, but then none of the comedy ever really hits it out of the park either. So let's now talk about the action segments. Renji and crew go on missions to God knows where the hell, but typically places littered with demons. There is a very vague hint of late 80s, early 90s bizarre action that is just such a gigantic tease. Many of the fights take place in extremely dark lands, which contrasts with the weapons and projectiles that the characters use. The music is fitting, and the artwork is solid enough, and some of the scenes actually look pretty damn cool. There are really no novelty twists about it, and it's just cool when the characters finally stop bitching among themselves and fight off something like a gigantic rock statue in entertaining, dramatic fashion. It's a little weird and kind of enjoyable too, because series just hardly ever have this sort of action anymore, and coupled with the fact that I really enjoy the general setting in which everything goes down, it saved the show from being a complete waste. There is some lack of direction from the producers. The first episode hinted at a potential show where there might have been some fun interplay between the main characters and the weaker demons, which would have worked so well in mixing things up in addition to the more serious battles, but then we pretty much never hear from that again. It's actually kind of hard to tell whether or not Night Wizard is trying to outdo its contemporaries as a by-the-numbers fantasy show, or if it's aiming to be a parody. Nothing is ever even that great. Despite the fact that some of the fight scenes are sort of worthwhile, it would be reaching to say that those fight scenes make the show worth going out of your way for. Although I will say that while the comedy kind of sucks, to give Night Wizard credit, I've also seen much worse. All in all, I wouldn't really bother with this show because there's really no point. It isn't going to make your life any more complete at all. It's not outright horrible, but there's just so much better stuff out there. Night Wizard receives a 5 out of 10.